Hey, I'm Julie Lyles Carr, and we are talking about this concept of understanding rest. And yes, I know it's the holiday season. That's specifically why we are doing this for All Mom Does in this season, because even though this is supposed to be the holidays, this can become some of the most harried, crazy time, particularly for moms who are trying to be the ones to really curate and create all these amazing events, all of these times for family gathering, and then we find ourselves absolutely wiped out and exhausted in what's supposed to be a holiday restful season. So we're taking a look at ways that we can create Sabbath as an approach to our lives to really rediscover rest. Now, I warned y'all last time that of all the people in the world to be talking about this, I get a little bit worried that lightning might strike because of my own personal hypocrisy. We have 8 children. We have a crazy busy house. I work full time. My husband works full time. We homeschool. We have a parade of people in and out who help us with different aspects of our lives. We have lots of friends. We live on a busy street with all kinds of little kids. We're very, very involved in our church. I mean, our world is nutty, and I tend to pack it even fuller than it needs to be. So believe me, if anybody needs to hear this, it's me, particularly as we come to holiday season with all the travel and extended family and all the different kinds of things that we do. The last time we talked about really having someone help us take a look to practice a prognosis, to see how we're really doing when it comes to this idea of busyness and craziness and freneticism, and how we're managing that during the busy holiday season. Have somebody from the outside in give us an idea of what our crazy looks like exactly, and maybe ideas where we're overcommitted, maybe places where we're making it harder than it has to be, so that we can really begin to approach life from a Sabbath approach, that we were created at times to stop, pause, rest, and reset. Well, today I wanted us to talk about a second idea about how to infuse a little bit of Sabbath in our lives when we need to, when we have those times that things are starting to get a little bit crazy. You know, there are lots of things that I have said as a parent that I never thought I would say. And when I found myself a couple of weeks ago having this conversation, I knew we jumped some kind of shark. I'm not really sure exactly what, but I actually heard myself saying to one of my 9-year-olds, I have 9-year-old twins, I was saying to one of them, if you ever throw a frozen chimichanga at your brother again, you need to apologize to him right now. If you ever hit someone, even if it's accidentally with a frozen chimichanga, you owe them an apology. You know, these are some of the conversations that go down at my house from time to time. There's always loud music playing. There is always somebody who's listening to some kind of audio book, or they're listening to a lecture. There's a TV on. There's always some kind of video game rolling. Several of my kids do school on online platforms. There's always all kinds of video going on for that. And there's just the noise of life and living on this busy street and all the things that we do. And then I find myself at times getting in my vehicle. It's a 15-passenger van. I know you're jealous. It's quite the performance machine. I'll find myself getting in my 15-passenger van to trek across town to go to a speaking engagement or to go to a work meeting or whatever. And I find myself just replicating that auditory environment of my home once again in the van as I drive somewhere. But you know what I'm starting to learn to do? And this is what I want to encourage you to do in this crazy holiday season that we've got going on. I've been learning to practice silence. I know it's crazy, but I'm telling you, it infuses a bit of Sabbath into your world. Practicing silence, what do I mean? Now, I live in Austin, Texas, and here we have a hands-free law where you're not supposed to have your cell phone on, you're not supposed to be texting, all that kind of stuff. But you can use different elements like, you know, a headset or whatever to be on the phone. And there have been times that I've taken advantage of that, or I'll have on an audiobook. You know, I'm always constantly listening to podcasts on leadership or, you know, nonfiction management kind of stuff or ministry ideas. Or I'll have on, you know, hey, my favorite Christian radio station, right, Christian Media? And those are great, good things. Those are ways that we can leverage time. Those are ways that we can get things done when we're on these commutes in town. However, I've started learning to practice silence when I'm driving. And it's actually quite remarkable to sit and hear my own thoughts. And at times that expands into a conversation with the Lord. At times it expands into a time of prayer. At times I'm just quiet. And I just notice afresh where I live and what it looks like and what's going on. It's a moment that I can practice a bit of Sabbath in the middle of a busy day, in the middle of trying to get a lot of things done, in the middle of needing to mediate with frozen chimichanga, perpetrators. It's a time that I can get quiet, make my environment quiet, and discover again that rhythm of Sabbath in which we rest from something. So give it a try. Practice silence. Why don't you just Sabbath on a little crosstown trek? Sabbath for just a little bit from your usual auditory environment and see what kind of peace you might just gain for your soul. I've got one more idea for you coming up, and we'll make sure we get that posted soon. I hope that you are thinking about this idea of infusing an approach to Sabbath, a Sabbath approach, all through these holidays. It's good for the soul. We'll talk to you soon.